If you're searching for a holiday away from the crowds, but still want to see the world, you might want to consider visiting one of the world's most remote locations, some of which are only accessible by boat or plane. Beautiful tropical weather can be found in some of these out-of-the-way places, but others include Arctic winters or unrelenting sandstorms. You get to decide how far you want to go. Some people live in the most inaccessible parts of the world, and here are a few lists of them. Welcome to Billionista. If you love videos about luxury living, please subscribe and click the bell so you never miss a video. And don't forget to like and share too. Nauru is the world's tiniest independent country. Its 21 square kilometers of landmass are less than Manhattan's. Still, that's not the only record Nauru can boast of right now. It is the world's least visited country, with only 200 tourists annually. The devastating history of the area may explain why so few people visit today. Approximately 200 years ago, Europeans found phosphate reserves on the island and transformed it into a vast strip mine. When phosphate deposits were drained in the 1990s, the only legacy the mines left was a polluted landscape. Limestone now covers 80% of the island, making Nauru uninhabitable. The waters were tainted by mining waste, and the ancient reef was wiped out. North Sentinel Island is our next stop. Its indigenous population has survived in isolation for the better part of the past 30,000 years, making this location an ideal case study for studying the effects of isolation on human societies. India has recognized control over it, but if you dared to ask the locals, they would probably kill you for your trouble. Anyone who tries to set foot on this island will be attacked. An American tourist was murdered by a member of the local tribe in 2018. John Allen Chow, then 26 years old, hired local fishermen to take him to the island. The fishermen had cautioned him against going, but he ignored their advice. People there shot him with arrows as soon as he arrived. Surrounding island cultures are wary of the North Sentinelese as well. After so much time apart, they no longer have a common language. Unfortunately, there were still tourists who decided to visit the island nonetheless. In 1771, a shipwreck accidentally brought a group of British colonists to the island. Until the arrival of the Royal Navy, they utilized their time defending raids by the natives. Officer of the Royal Navy Maurice Vidal Portman and his fleet visited the island in 1880. Everyone on the island made a break for it, except for 4 kids who were too slow and were picked up. Due to their severe illness, these kids were sent back to their tribe. After that, people feared that any contact with foreigners would result in a disease outbreak. Chernuknath Pandit, an anthropologist active in the 20th century, spent a lifetime making contact. In 1991, he made contact and began sending gifts like coconuts and fruits. He could not communicate with them due to a lack of knowledge of their language, and the small boy eventually made a gesture that implied he was about to sever his head. The Indian Navy set up a buffer zone in 1996 and ceased giving out gifts to keep interested onlookers at bay. In keeping with our theme of unwelcoming destinations, let's move on to one of the world's most secluded countries, North Korea. About 70 years ago, after the conclusion of the Korean War, the peninsula was divided into North and South Korea. After adopting communism, the North cut itself isolated from the world. Vox claims it is illegal to own a computer without obtaining government authorization. Then, you can visit one of the regime-approved websites. Any details you can provide regarding its leader, Kim Jong-un, will be gratefully received. There were rumors he could drive a car when he was just 3, that he found a medication that he could heal cancer, and that he could even manipulate the weather. The country is home to both affluent elites and a robust middle class. However, most North Koreans are impoverished and must go without many necessities. As a result of food shortages in 2020, Sky News reported that North Korea had compelled its inhabitants to give up their pets. There are very few opportunities to travel abroad, and those that do are closely monitored because North Korea views the United States and South Korea as enemies. Citizens of those countries are typically denied entry. The majority of visitors originate from China, an important diplomatic partner. North Koreans are restricted in their ability even to leave the nation. A total of about 300,000 people are thought to have escaped North Korea since the war ended. However, you may be killed or sent to jail camp if you are discovered. The worst part is that if you manage to get away, the authorities will round up your loved ones and throw them in prison. Therefore, most of its inhabitants are effectively imprisoned within a politically closed society with limited access to the broader world. We've only been to countries with tropical or warm climates up to this point. But what about the Arctic? You've reached the Greenland town of Itokortormit. Itokortormit's guest house has been called the most distant hotel on Earth due to the city's extreme isolation. There are no cell phone or automobile signals here. The location is as out of the way as a tourist can get. Greenland has the world's smallest population density, measured in people per square kilometer. Most of the 57,000 people in the capital city of Nuuk contribute to the average population density of 0 people per square kilometer. Heating and electricity are accessible to Itokortormit households, and residents can use the town's public Wi-Fi network at the recreation center. A charter plane that only flies once every 2 months will deliver your Amazon package. To travel even further north, however, you can visit Alert, Canada. A human settlement has been maintained at this latitude longer than any other. Of course, getting here is easier said than done. It's not a little town, but rather a Canadian military installation. As of 2018 estimates, there are 80 residents, and they are located 800 kilometers from the next major settlement. This means that even by air, the nearest major city is still at least an hour away. It's not just the lack of human contact that makes living challenging in Alert. Summer has a constant daytime temperature of 24 degrees Celsius, while winter has a constant nighttime temperature of 0 degrees Celsius. Those with mental health conditions including depression or alcoholism will be dissuaded from attending the event. At most, you'll be able to have 2 alcoholic beverages each day while staying here. The wintertime lows typically fall below -50 degrees Celsius. Staying out in the cold for too long might cause you to lose consciousness, get hypothermia, and even die. Summit Station, one of the world's most remote research sites, is located not too far from the isolated city of Alert. The closest settlement is Itokortormit, which we have already visited and which is home to the world's most remote hotel. Climate change in the Arctic and its repercussions on the rest of the planet are 2 of the many topics investigated by scientists at the Summit Station. However, the truly unique atmospheric optics here are what set this location apart. Halos, sundogs, and higher tangent arcs can be viewed correctly. The mountain the station stands situated is about 3.2 kilometers above sea level, making it relatively secure from polar bears. In 2018, however, a polar bear did make an appearance at the station, prompting everyone to take refuge in the main house while others tried to scare it away with noisy machines and food. Since 1988, this was the first polar bear sighting. As we're on the topic of heights, do you know where the highest permanent human settlement is located on Earth? The Andes of Peru is home to the little settlement of La Rinconada. There is a settlement 5 kilometers into the mountains known as a town that enjoys playing the loto. The sad citizens' dedication to the pursuit of gold resulted in the town's awful moniker. In La Rinconada, people often only lived to be between 30 and 35 years old. The laborers follow a system where they put in 30 days of unpaid labor for the mining firm before receiving any payment. On the 31st day, however, they are permitted to remove as much ore from the mine as they can carry. If the workmen are fortunate, they may find some gold in the rocks. However, if they're not lucky, they'll have to put in a full month's worth of effort for nothing. These days, the community is like its own little planet. The workers use explosives from the mines to drive off the Peruvian police who had come to the region to establish order. The area may be rich in gold, but it's difficult to get by. Water, power, and plumbing are not readily available. The gold has benefits and drawbacks for the town. Few have succeeded in getting rich, but many have perished trying. You can reach Tristan da Cunha by traveling farther across the Atlantic. It is the farthest away inhabited island chain in the globe. Furthermore, unlike many of the other far-flung islands we've discussed, there is no airport. You can take a ship from Cape Town to Tristan da Cunha. As if that weren't enough, you'll also need the island's blessing to leave. A voyage of this distance, roughly 4,710 kilometers, will take about 6 days to complete. Except for a mandatory evacuation in 1961 owing to a volcanic explosion, life on this island has been quite quiet. Since the island is considered British territory, its native inhabitants were relocated there. The islanders missed their homeland after a few years, so they returned when it was secure to do so. This stunning island has a volcano, but it also has another drawback. Putting in an order with Amazon? Prepare to wait 4 months for delivery. If you can handle being so cut off from civilization, then you should definitely visit Bouvet Island. Because of its extreme isolation, this island can rightfully claim to be the world's most remote, uninhabited location. Difficulty in reaching that point is high. No nearby airports are available. The island doesn't even have a harbor. It's a natural preserve, so you're not supposed to go there, but you probably won't run into any guards. Getting there by boat is also exceedingly challenging due to the severe seas and the fact that much of the island is covered in ice. Past practices have involved sailing close to the island and launching a helicopter onto the island from the boat. Those in the scientific community are the only visitors to the island. Norwegian authorities set aside Bouvet Island as a protected wildlife sanctuary in the 1970s. This is the most remote area on Earth, as no one lives there and few people ever go there. So Billionistas, which place is part of your bucket list? Let me know in the comments. That's it for this time. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.